Good morning. Welcome to our daily devotion. I'm a little late again. It's Friday, June 11th. We're almost getting to the end of the book of Matthew. Last few days we've been talking about Jesus has been talking about what it's going to be like when we face him, Judgment Day, and now this is immediately after that, where it says, when Jesus had finished saying all these things, he said to his disciples, "As you know, the Passover is 2 days away, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be crucified." Then the chief priests and the elders of the people assembled in the palace of the high priest, whose name was Caiaphas, and they plotted to arrest Jesus in some sly way and kill him. But not during the feast, they said, or there may be a riot among the people. Morning, Jocelyn. So Jesus tells his disciples that he's going to be sacrificed soon. He knew that his time on earth was coming to an end. Now it's interesting. Morning, Hannah. We know that Jesus was literally God in the flesh. We know that. It says, when you see me, you see the Father. I and the Father are one. So we know that he's literally God in the flesh, yet he still had this human side to him also. Morning, Marcy. This caused some fear for Jesus. I'm going to read you something here in Luke. This is Luke's account of the same thing. It says here, when Jesus was in the Mount of Olives and praying about the same time that we're reading now in Matthew, just before his death. And as he's praying, he says, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but your will be done." He's like telling Jesus, he's telling God, is there another way? Is there another way of doing this so that I don't have to suffer and die on this cross? That's this human side that was talking like that. And then it goes on as he's in there. It says, "And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground." Now they say that he was in such anguish that his face was like stretched like that to where the little capillaries would break, mix in with the sweat and drop down to the ground, and it looked like drops of blood as the sweat was dropping down to the ground. From the fear of knowing what he would be going through. In the days ahead, we'll be talking about how severe it was for Jesus, what he had to go through. The Bible says went through something that no other man has ever gone through. Can you imagine what it would be like for you if you knew you had to suffer and die? If you knew your time was coming to an end and you were going to have to go through great suffering? Like, morning, Lily. I think of my brother now that's dying, getting closer and closer, having to get more pain medication now as the cancer just keeps spreading. They've already told him that the cancer's all over in his right side of his body, even in his heart. His cancer in his heart, in his lungs, in his liver, every part of his body, in his bones. So he's well aware of what's lying ahead of him now. He knows that there's going to be excruciating pain. He knows that he's coming to an end. That's not easy. That's not easy. Now I've talked to him about it, and I said, "Can you imagine, Leo?" That's his name. "Can you imagine, Leo, what it would be like for you going through all this if you were not a Christian and you had no hope? That there was no hope? That all you had to look forward to was suffering through this cancer until you finally die, not having a clue what happens after that." Ooh, it would be so much harder. But he has great hope. He has great hope for what lies ahead of him. I think of someone that I've been praying for. My niece, Jackie, has a friend that has got this rare disease. He was a strong man with a young family, just had a baby. And then all of a sudden it attacks his immune system, and he totally becomes an invalid. Can't talk, can't move, cannot walk, can't do and he has to fully recover. I mean, he's literally in a sling just to move him around. Can't eat. They have to force feed him through a straw. And he's got a long, long, long recovery ahead of him. Long, long recovery ahead of him. But at least there's a recovery. At least he has hope. Like my brother has no hope. He knows that he can't be cured. At least Wyatt has some hope. And then Jesus gives Wyatt even more hope as a believer. He gives him even that much more hope. But the thing that I'm impressed with Jesus is it didn't cause Jesus to stop his ministry. He didn't stop because he knew that he was going to suffer and die. He continued to teach at every moment, every opportunity that he had. And I'm hoping to do that same thing. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping to do that same thing. I'm hoping that I can keep on keeping on all the way to the end. Paul did. 2 Timothy 4, 6 through 8, it says this. Paul says, "For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time has come for my departure. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all of you who have longed for his appearing." Paul kept on fighting for the Lord all the way to the end. And boy, that's what I want to do. I know Paul was nearly blind all the way to the end. That's what I'm hoping to do. And I can't speak for each of you, but I'm praying that this is what you too want to do. I think of Liz's mom, Irene, that was on dialysis, that was so weak there at the end, but she would come to church every week. She could barely stand, but when she would stand to worship and she'd put her hands up in the air, continued to worship all the way to the end. I think of Amante that would come in his wheelchair, suffering from cancer also, coming in his wheelchair and playing his harmonica for Amazing Grace or How Great Thou Art, continuing to fight. And I've talked to, just so you know, Imelda, and Imelda said that he's just really weak right now, too weak to be able to come to Collision. They're hoping that he can get stronger so that they can come and visit us again. I think of Will. There's a young man named Will from England that watches these videos every day. 14 months ago, had a severe motorcycle accident and broke his back. So close to being paralyzed. He has so many rods and screws in his back to hold him together. And he's been recovering for these past 14 months, but he didn't give up. He was in the hospital in traction, watching these daily devotions. There's great hope for those of us that know the Lord. That's why Jesus assures us, the word assures us, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you, that he's with us all the way to the end. And we have that great, great hope that an unbeliever doesn't have. I can only imagine what it's like to be an unbeliever with no hope, coming to the end of your life. And we see, you see so many famous people, athletes, actors, actresses, musicians that are dying, and in their which is, I think, is not old, in their 70s, 60s, 70s now. That you see, it makes you wonder when I read about one of them dying. And today, were they a Christian? Alex Trebek, was he a Christian? Did he know the Lord? I think one time years ago, when I was working with youth, and Michael Landon, some of you might remember him from Little House on the Prairie, got cancer and was dying. And I was telling the youth that what we should do is get in my van, go to his gated place where he lives, and ask to speak to Michael Landon so that we could share the gospel with him, just in case he didn't know who the Lord was. And we were seriously thinking of trying to do that because we were concerned. We were concerned for his eternal life. We liked Michael Landon. We loved Little House on the Prairie. It was one of those family TV shows, and I liked him as an actor, and I thought I would love to be able to share the gospel with him before he died. So you as Christians have great hope, great hope. Some of you, we're getting closer, we're getting closer to the end. But I pray that you and I, like Paul, will fight all the way to the end, serving the Lord. So those of you that are young, you got a long way ahead of you. Lily, you still got a long way ahead of you. But again, anything can happen. Anything can happen. There's young people getting cancer today. So it's not like we're all immune to it. But we have the Lord on our side. And so I, like Paul, want to fight all the way to the end, and I pray that you do too. God bless you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I'm thinking I'd love some comments on this. See what time I got a couple of minutes. I'd love some comments on this. I'm thinking during the summer of maybe changing it to 9 a.m. instead of 8 p.m. I don't know how many people I miss live, that it might be too early in the morning at 8. I would just love to hear your response to this, those of you that watch this on a regular basis. Well, just say, what would you rather? Just write in the comments below, 8 or 9, just so I have an idea of what you would prefer, okay? God bless you all. Have a great day.